Hello and welcome to today's mini webinar on the Creating Hope Reauthorization Act of 2019, also known as HR 4439 and Senate Bill 4010. Your audio is muted when you join the call. Questions during the webinar can be submitted via the chat box on your screen. The webinar will last approximately 15 minutes, including time for a Q&A session after the presentation. Unmute your audio. This webinar will be recorded and available on the PWSA USA YouTube channel. Effective advocacy is essential to ensuring the health, safety, and enhanced quality of life for those affected by Prader-Willi syndrome. As such, PWSA USA is committed to informing the PWS community of critical public policy issues to leverage the power of grassroots supporters to enact change. Because Prader-Willi syndrome is considered a rare disease, extra effort is needed to raise awareness amongst our public and elected officials to guarantee the passage of legislation and regulations that help our community and defeat those that do not. I'm going to go through the next few slides quickly, but don't feel like you need to take notes. After the webinar, you will be provided with a copy of this presentation, key talking points, and a recording of the webinar. First, we'll cover a little bit about the background of the bill, more about vouchers, how this bill impacts the PWS community, and what you can do to advocate for the passage of this legislation. So let's get started. On September 20th, 2019, the Creating Hope Reauthorization Act of 2019 was introduced in the House of Representatives by Representative Butterfield, along with Representatives McCall, Spear, and Kelly. On June 18th, 2020, a companion bill was introduced in the Senate by Senator Casey Jr. and Senator Collins. Originally passed into federal law in 2012, the Creating Hope Act created Pediatric Rare Disease Priority Review Voucher Program. A priority review voucher is awarded to a drug company if the company develops a drug for a rare pediatric disease and the drug is approved. The voucher allows the company to expedite the FDA review of a future drug. The first Rare Pediatric Disease Priority Review Voucher was awarded in 2014, 2 years after the Creating Hope Act was passed into law. Since then, a total of 22 rare disease vouchers have been awarded and 19 new drugs for children with life-threatening illnesses have been approved. The Creating Hope Act was reauthorized as part of the 21st Century Cures Act in December 2016. The reauthorization is not permanent, and the Creating Hope Act expired last month in September 2020. Rare disease and patient advocacy organizations, including PWSA USA, are working hard on a permanent reauthorization of the Creating Hope Act. Let's talk a little bit about why these vouchers are so important. Drug development is a long, costly, and financially risky process. A company must secure funding from investors, pay researchers and scientists, and conduct preclinical and clinical trials. All of these activities must be funded before a company knows if a drug will be approved. Additionally, a drug company spends an average of 7 to 10 years creating a new medicine and then submits an application to the FDA for approval. The usual FDA review takes about 10 months. Creating drugs for rare diseases takes the same effort as for other diseases, but is often less profitable. A priority review is usually 6 months. The extra time is valuable to a drug company, as the new drug will reach the patient sooner and may beat a competitor's drug to the market. The extra time the company gains does not cost taxpayers or patients anything. Despite the significant unmet medical need, pharmaceutical companies have been reluctant to develop drugs for PWS since the high costs are unlikely to be recouped following approval. The Pediatric Priority Review Voucher Program encourages the development of new drugs for children with rare diseases, including children with PWS, by providing a voucher to pharmaceutical companies which develop such drugs. Vouchers can be used to expedite FDA approval for any other future drug, which allows those future drugs to reach markets faster. The Rare Pediatric Priority Review Voucher Program has resulted in 22 novel therapies and over $1 billion of incentives for companies to develop rare pediatric disease drugs with no cost to consumers or taxpayers. You're probably wondering why this bill has two different names for it, the HR 4439 and the Senate 4010. This is because each of the two sides of Congress, the House and the Senate, operate separately as bills are introduced by individuals in each of the two chambers. The person or persons introducing the bills are called sponsors. Representatives introduce House bills designated by the letters HR for House Resolution, and senators introduce Senate bills designated by the letter S before the number of the bill. In the case of the Creating Hope Reauthorization Act of 2019, the House and Senate have introduced companion bills, meaning representatives from the House and senators from the Senate introduced almost identical bills to maximize the chance of success of the bill passing. It's important to note that the bill in the House has four sponsors, and the bill in the Senate has 2 sponsors. In both cases, at least one Democrat and one Republican in both chambers have co-sponsored the bill, so it is truly bipartisan. In addition to the original sponsors, representatives and senators can show their support for the bill in their chamber by becoming a co-sponsor. By doing so, legislators are demonstrating their support for the Creating Hope Reauthorization Act of 2019 to their colleagues. We want more co-sponsors for this bill because the number of co-sponsors is one measure of the likelihood of a bill being passed when it is brought to a vote. Now that you know a little bit more about the Rare Pediatric Priority Review Voucher Program and the Creating Hope Reauthorization Act of 2019, let's talk about how you can advocate for its passage on behalf of the PWS community. Sending an email or physical mail is one of the most effective ways to reach your representatives. It's more effective if you address a single topic or an issue rather than a variety of issues that you may feel passionate about. In this case, we hope that you address the Creating Hope Reauthorization Act. A typed one-page letter is best. A physical letter is more likely to be read than an email. You can typically find an email or feedback web form in the mailing address on your elected official's website. Sending an email to an actual person is far better than using a website form. If you have trouble finding the best email or physical address, call the office and ask. I'll be happy to help you. Make sure your letter is legible and try to make it stand out by including pictures or bright colors to make sure it gets attention and leaves an impact. Don't do this if you're sending an email, however, as your email may get caught in a spam filter and then the staffer might not be able to open it. In both cases, keep it brief, polite, and free of grammatical errors. You can also use social media. It's a very public way to show your support or opposition to the policies or actions of your representatives. Not every elected official uses social media, but the ones that do are easily found by visiting their official website. When posting, make sure that you tag their official page. Include a picture, as this increases the likelihood that others will read the text that goes along with it. Make it clear that you are a constituent of the elected official, and make the post personal. Be aware that anything that you share on social media may be visible to the public. You can also make a phone call to your representatives. It takes less than 5 minutes and is one of the most effective ways to advocate. Staff are dedicated to answering your phone calls, and every call matters. Phone calls require minimal time commitment and no traveling. Every elected official will have a public telephone number that constituents can call to leave feedback. This could either be a place where you leave a voicemail or talk with a staff member. Only call your own elected officials and clearly state the address at which you are registered to vote so they know you are a constituent. Clearly tell the staffer what you want the elected official to do, why it is important, and why you feel motivated to call. Stay polite with the staffer on the phone, but be firm in your interaction as it will be short. You can also attend a town hall meeting. Attending a town hall meeting is a chance to meet with your representative and get updates on what they've been doing. They're usually held in a public setting and are free to attend. Lately, a lot of them have been held online. Town halls provide fantastic opportunities to gain face-to-face access to your elected officials. To find out when a town hall meeting will be held, monitor your elected officials' website and social media pages. You can also sign up for their email alerts or call the office directly and ask for event updates. In a typical town hall meeting, your elected official will speak for about 15 to 30 minutes about their activities in Washington. Then they will open the floor to questions from constituents. This is your chance. Raise your hand immediately when they ask for questions. The longer you wait, the more competition you will have for the microphone. This is your opportunity to ask about a piece of legislation or a specific issue. Make sure you have what you're going to say prepared in advance. You may only be given less than a minute to pose your question. Prepare a short summary of the bill or issue you are advocating for. Be sure to introduce yourself, state the bill number, title, summary, what position you are advocating for, and why. Your summary and explainer should be no longer than 1 page. Only address one bill or issue at a time. If you aren't given the chance to ask your question during the meeting, stick around afterwards and find a staff member. They can take your comments, answer questions, and refer you to other appropriate staff members. Bring a business card or a printed letter about your issue to help them follow up with you. And don't forget to network with other attendees while you're there. It's a great way to get other people involved in the PWS community. Scheduling a meeting to visit your local district office takes some planning, but it makes the most impact. You'll have a chance to sit down with a staff member from your local district office, or maybe even talk directly with your elected official. In order to schedule a meeting, visit the website of the person you want to visit. You should be able to find contact information for their scheduler or chief of staff, or you will find a section on their website called Request a Meeting. If there is a web form to request a meeting, fill it out and someone will get back to you. Most state elected officials have district offices that are near your home address. You can ask to meet the elected official or a member of their staff in your district office so there's less travel involved. Work with your chapter or another family with PWS to advocate as a group. The more people present at the meeting, the more amplified your message will be. Often, when a large group is requesting a meeting, the elected official will meet at a local library or a town hall or another local venue to accommodate the size of your group. Right now, due to the pandemic, a lot of people are meeting virtually. You can expect to spend about 10 to 15 minutes with the elected official. It is not uncommon for elected officials to have legislative assistants hold the meeting instead. While the elected official may not have very much time during their meeting, their staff are in a better position to dedicate more time to hear your position and address your questions and concerns. You will want to introduce yourselves and make your short statement about your position, your ask, your personal story, and why you came to meet with them. Be clear with what you are asking the person you are meeting with to do. Stick to the issue you asked to discuss. If the conversation goes off topic, bring it back to the reason you came, and don't be afraid to press the staffer or elected official for a definitive answer or position statement in support or opposition of your ask. Ask the elected official if they will pose for a photo with your group, and if everybody's given permission to be photographed, share it all over social media. Thank the elected representative or their staff for meeting with you and for supporting the PWS community. PWSA USA has also prepared boilerplate text for you to use, and we encourage you to use these to personalize your emails, tweets, calls, and letters. Use these templates as a guide to help you make the point and use your own words to make it personal. Thank you for attending. If you have any questions, feel free to submit them via the question box on your screen. While you're typing out your questions, I want to remind everyone that PWSA USA is a 501c3 organization. So when you're meeting with your representatives on behalf of PWSA USA, keep in mind you're not lobbying, you're educating your legislators about the issues that are important to you. This is so we don't jeopardize our tax-exempt status. I also want to take a moment to encourage everyone to register to vote. Check your voter registration status and turn up at the polls this November. When we talk to our elected officials, we want to be able to say that 100% of the PWS community votes. If you need help finding out about voter registration deadlines in your state, voting times and locations, or whether or not you're even eligible to register to vote, give me a call and I'll help you through the process. It doesn't look like we have any questions from our attendees, so thank you everybody for attending today. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to info@pwsausa.org.